A very good day to you. Welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Chebukati passed on last week. My conversation with Herman Manyora is all about what it takes to run the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Why do these commissioners face a lot of backlash after elections? Is there something they are not doing right? Prof, great to see you. This viral video of Eugene Wamalwa announcing, I think he was in a funeral somewhere, announcing to the public that Wafula Chebukati has passed on. And this is one voice coming out saying, Wacha akufe.
Wacha akufe. That's what many Kenyans are saying that. And there's another one of the son, I think last born son, saying it is really painful for you people. For you people to say the things you are saying. As a family, we are mourning. And you are saying the things you are saying about our dad. You've seen that one?
I haven't seen that one.
The last born son. It's really touching, yeah.
Why do you think Kenyans mistrust elections, and especially those who run the elections? Because for many, you'd think, look, these elections come and go, and yes, there's this victor, and yes, the Supreme Court has not nullified the elections. Why shouldn't we say the buck is with the Supreme Court, not the IBC commissioner?
No, it ought to be none of those. Elections are supposed to be done at the polling station, and that's the end of the story. We are giving institutions power those institutions don't have. In fact, the Supreme Court is not even supposed to do what people think it's supposed to do. It's just a bad overview of what took place. And in any case, Kenya should not turn the Supreme Court into the voter. Because if the Supreme Court determines who is the president, then they are usurping the role of the voter. So we must do our things in such a way that nobody ever go to the Supreme Court.
If we look
it must not be that every election the Supreme Court must decide. Then you are saying, in a sense, it is the Supreme Court who will give Kenyans a president. That's not how it's intended.
What should have been the role of Chebukati in ensuring that his commission is trusted 2017, 2022?
Just do your work well. Basically for the IBC, their work is logistics. And they shouldn't go beyond logistics. People are giving IBC power it doesn't have. IBC is just to do logistics, nothing else. Logistics, establish a system that is able to run an election, which is get the hardware required. Provide for the logistics in terms of movements and what have you. Do the staffing and the training. It is just a simple role of, you need 47 county coordinators or whatever, you hire them, train them. Under them, they are returning officers every constituency. Hire them, train them. Let them know how to run an election. Do voter registration, which we must remove now. Because people ought to vote with their IDs, not cards. Because we are all registered. We are all in one system. The system shows you are over 18. So you just vote.
Why are you making it simple?
It is simple.
You listen to Isaac Hassan. He says he doesn't understand why people want that job. He was there chairing the IBC. And he says, look, I was looking at Ms. Akombe. She's in UN. Why does she want to do this job?
Grade 5 or something.
Why do you think this job is difficult according to Hassan?
It's not difficult. It's difficult because of two reasons. One, political interference and the assumed political interference. Number two, we make it more complex than it is. We give it responsibilities and the duties it doesn't have. We give it power it doesn't have. For example, IBC has no power to declare a president. It doesn't have the power. Where there's no power for IBC to say now Manyora is the president or Jad. No. The power is with the people at the polling station. They are the people who elect a president, and it is declared so and so is the president. Simple. Where is
at
IBC?
The polling station.
Yeah, IBC. Other than the preparation, which is staffing, training, procurement of material, mobilizing the resources and the people, and supervising and conducting the election on the ground, they have no other responsibility. Because at that point, when you go to vote, you choose your president, and it is declared the same day. At the close of the polling, In your polling station, I know you don't vote, so you don't know your polling station.
Yeah.
What is your polling station?
It's in Superloaf, Mole, Mwembakasi West.
Inaitwa Superloaf.
Yes.
Superloaf is
Primary.
bread.
There's a primary school called Superloaf.
Superloaf.
Yes.
So at Superloaf, you will have decided whether it is Ruto or Kalonzo in 2027. Period. Then IBC has no role after that. The role of IBC, which is why we mess our elections. And I've been telling people like Raila and the rest all along. They don't understand. Ignore IBC after the voting. They have no role, absolutely. And I give the American example. The American IBC takes place in January. Elections takes place the first Tuesday I think, of November.
Yes.
Every 4 years. Every fourth year, the first Tuesday, I think.
Yes, first Tuesday.
First Tuesday in November. When will IBC declare the winner?
Month later, 2 months later.
2 months later. That's the role of IBC. To formally say this is the victor and they provide the certificate to the victor. Going to IBC, to Bomas to get a certificate is absolute nonsense. You create tension for nothing.
If you were the chairman...
If I stand, I can stand for elections. If I stand for elections and I win, because I can win, I will just thank Kenyans because I'm now the president. There's no other president to be declared at Bomas.
I'm asking about now the other side, the chairman.
Yes.
If you look at Chebukati's time, it was all about the commissioner saying it is a 1 month show.
Yes.
You know, this is what Cherera 4 was saying, this is what we saw in 2017 too, that it's as if Chebukati is making decisions, alone. As a chairman, what is your role in ensuring that you hold the commission together?
The role of the chairman is to be first among equal, number one. You don't have power to act unilaterally. And when this case went to court, the court said as much. There is only one role Chebukati had, which he didn't share with other commissioners, which was as the returning officer to announce the win at the end. That declaration and that signing of the certificate. Only that. Anything else was supposed to be a commission job. And this is not an IBC issue. It is a problem in all board places where they are chairmen. Chairmen give themselves powers they don't have. Absolutely, they don't have. If you read articles of association of a company or whatever, or a charter, or you see the board shall. But now the chairman becomes the board in everything. He's more powerful than he should be. This is a challenge IBC has, and which came out in court, at the Supreme Court. The chairman was told, no, you don't have any power. You are the same like all commissioners. You only chair. And you cannot make any unilateral decision.
Is it the board that makes mistakes, members of the board that allow the chairman to be this big?
It's a Kenyan problem. It is eating everywhere. Everywhere you go where there's a chairman. He has power. He gives himself powers which he doesn't have anywhere. They are not anywhere. Those powers are not there. He gives himself powers.
You said something interesting, though, about political interference.
Yes.
If you're a chairman like Chebukati, and of course we saw some CCTV footages, I don't know meeting who, I don't know whether that led to the results being as they were, but what is the responsibility of a chairman when it comes to, you'll get a lot of pressure. You'll get a lot of people. What should you do at that particular position?
That's a job you take knowing the risks. One, you must know people will canvass. You must know people will come to you and threaten you. You must know those in power, the deep state, the administration. They will try to impose their will on the commission for a desired outcome. You must know before you take the job. Above all, you must know there is a risk to your life. So when you take that job, take it with that in mind. If you have answered all those questions, am I able to withstand the heat? Can I look at people in the eye and tell them, no, I'm not doing what you are saying? Am I prepared to take the bullet? Yes, then we take the job. But we have people who take the job. They are not prepared. In fact, they get the job as part of the process of rigging. They are carefully selected. Chebukati is dead, and we shouldn't be saying bad things about him. He wasn't number one on the list. He wasn't even number two, I think. I think he was quite far. So people are chosen, and I'm not saying Chebukati was chosen, but normally people are chosen depending on how compliant they may be. But if you are asking me what kind of person should take the IBC,
because now there's a selection panel.
Yeah, but I don't think it will produce. Nobody will apply. The people who meet the criteria I'm giving cannot apply. They know they will not be given, so they will not apply. Even me, people have been asking Manyora, why haven't you applied? I can't apply because I won't be given. Because nobody can push me around. Anybody who can't be pushed around will not be given.
From what you're saying, though, the ball should not be with the IEBC.
No. The problem we have.
So this blame we're seeing with Chebukati
is because
our political leaders.
We are giving him power he doesn't have. And it surprises me even seasoned politicians. All these big names, Kalonzo, Mudavadi, Raila, Malwa Eugene, Jimmy Wanjigi, all these people. Sometimes I doubt their ability upstairs. They don't have brains. Because IBC doesn't have the power they give it. Bomas has no power. There's nothing at Bomas. There's zero. There is nothing at Bomas. Maina Kiai helped them. There is nothing at Bomas.
But what we saw with Kivwito, I believe,
yes,
swearing in Kibaki,
yes,
you know, the mood, the air was all about Raila taking over. What happened then that Kivwito actually made sure that, actually announced Kibaki as the winner, even though the mood was for Raila? Because you're saying, look, Raila on this side, you have people, but why do you allow power to be taken? What happened there?
You see, then there was an old constitution. That was not this constitution. Maina Kiai had not come. Elections were not at the polling station. Elections had to be declared at the top. You had to wait for that top. Before the commissioner said, and very good, thank you for bringing out that. I'm saying this for Kina Kalonzo Musyoka. In the old constitution, until the chairman of IBC, whatever it was called, ECK, and before that was, before Kivwito said it, you could not be president. That's how it was. They are carrying that nonsense to the new constitution. And I'm calling it nonsense because it's absolute nonsense. So Kivwito had to declare. And that's why he was frog-marched to go and declare. Yeah, he had to. But now that provision is not there. The new constitution and the Maina Kiai ruling, whatever you call it, means there is nothing at Bomas. Absolutely nothing. Zero. So even why people go to Bomas, I don't understand what they go to do in Bomas. So you create a monster out of Bomas. You make Bomas a monster.
And therefore Chebukati now gets that power, the chairperson.
Chebukati gets power he doesn't have. Chebukati is not going to declare anybody the winner. The people of Kenya declare their winner at the polling station.
All right.
Once that is done, and I want to advise people who are running in 2027, ignore Bomas. Have nothing to do with Bomas. What do you need to do? And working with observers and NGOs, working especially with the media, and with a strong secretariat, with a strong monitoring system. Monitor. The moment you hit a mark, once the polling station is closed, you must know how many people have voted at the close of polling station. You must know. Your system must be able to tell you, so far, 20 million Kenyans have voted. And therefore, if you are two candidates, let's assume you are just two strong candidates. The moment you hit 10.1, you celebrate your victory with Kenyans and you thank Kenyans for the victory. And we advise the one who sees that my opponent has already hit 10.1, 10 million plus one vote. He is a victor. Even if we continue counting the votes, I will not beat him. Chukua simu, mpigie umwambie, it was a contest, I concede. If you don't know how to speak, go to Google or YouTube, get the John McCain concession speech, the most powerful concession speech I've ever read. Internalize it, don't memorize it, internalize what McCain is saying. That only a short while ago you are my competitor, but now you are my president. Yeah? Commander-in-chief. You know, very powerful, well-written speech by the late John McCain, conceding to Barack Obama. So when you run for election, and with a chance you are the top 2, 3 there, internalize the John McCain speech. Come to me, we go through.
Kenyans will
you
do
and
that.
I'm a speech,
You're in
I'm a
dreamland,
speech
bro.
writer and I can teach you public speaking. Come, we go through the John McCain speech. You internalize it, not you cram it. I tell you, and you borrow from it, and you can address your followers. Tell them, we didn't make it. There's always tomorrow. The will of the people must prevail. The American people have spoken, and they have spoken loudly and clearly. That is don't end before we tell Kenyans.
Yes.
Two things. One is that Bomas is being given prominence that it doesn't have. No presidential candidate should wait for Bomas or go to Bomas. That's number one. The election will have ended at the polling station by law. Count your votes carefully. Add them carefully. The moment you hit the mark, thank the Kenyan people for being president. That's all. We shall end all these shenanigans of rigging, or transmission of results. What are you transmitting? You are transmitting. People are already celebrating their victory. You can go on transmitting. That's a formality. Bomas is a formality. That's the first thing we must tell Kenyans. The second thing we must tell Kenyans, do not go for an election if you do not have the resources to monitor that election, so that you don't take us to the Supreme Court for nothing. Monitor your elections. If you win, you know you have won. And thank Kenyans. If you lose and you are the second, please call your competitor and concede defeat and congratulate him. That's what I'm telling Kenyans. Two things. Don't give Bomas prominence it doesn't have. Don't ever go to Bomas. Don't ever think about Bomas. Because that's where the problem begins. We know you have won. What are you going to do in Bomas? Thank Kenyans. Call a nice meeting and thank Kenyans. And the second thing is, before this man thanks Kenyans, you should have monitored your election. You should have known that you have lost. Call your competitor and thank him. That's the tradition and culture we want to have in this country. So that the elections are not perpetual trouble all the time with Supreme Court fighting. What?
You've said those two things more than 5 times in this conversation.
If they don't get it, especially politicians who are standing for election, if they don't get what Manyora is saying about Bomas, then even if they became my president, I'll just know that they are useless.
Thanks for tuning into that conversation. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.